Hey YouTube, Dan Otto here, coming at you with my third Ultra League team that got me to my highest elo of the season, 29-23. And this is actually a lesson. I don't even care about the team. I'll go over the team and some battles and its strengths and weaknesses because there's a lot of weaknesses, but this is actually an important lesson in team building. Build for what you are seeing, even if the team doesn't make sense overall. This team is double weak essentially to Darks. It's double weak to Ghost. It's double weak to Fairy. It's going to have trouble with basically Obstagoon. It's going to have trouble with Mandibuzz. There's so many different Pokemon that this team will have problems with. It did not matter to get me to 29-23 because what I was seeing was Swamperts, Talonflames, Cobalions, which I will use tomorrow's video. What's what I seen? I wasn't seeing a ton of Walreins at the time, but so you're basically building for what you're seeing. So like Swampert, Jellicent, and Giratina have great matchups there. Umbreon tanky enough. You have Talonflame, same thing, those two. If I do see a weakness here in Trevenant, I had Umbreon as the hardest counter, right? I saw, I forget what else I saw. Let's just go over some of the battles. So like, the team is flawed. Like there are some weaknesses, but like for the most part, like it dealt with it. Here we go. Lost the lead. Hardest counter comes in here. Now it has nothing to throw here. So you can't just go like straight 3 ghosts. You can't go like Configuricus in the 3rd spot here, else you'll be in trouble. But like as if you balance it, it's okay. I didn't see a ton of A9 tails. I saw a couple. They're usually on the lead. You don't usually see them in the back. They're usually on the lead. So did well with that. Okay. So this is the essential building. So if you're going to run a team like this that is so clearly flawed, you need to run. So I actually did initially run Bubble Beam on Jellicent and Shadow Claw on Giratina. And then I went into it against the Mandibuzz and the team I lost instantly. So I changed it to Ice Beam. So I have more options for dragons and flyers. And then I changed Claw to Dragon Breath so I don't have 2 ghost type moves if I saw like a dark Pokemon like a Scrafty or Mandibuzz or something like that, where you just get like walled, right? So that is how I team built this team, got me to 29-23. And then I was like, okay, team is looking good. And then, I kid you not, I saw 4 Drapions in 6 matches. And Drapion was just like a killer for this team because like you had the dark part of Drapion that dealt with both. Like I said, you're double weak to dark because you have 2 ghosts here. And then I can only throw last resorts at it and I would just get outspammed by the sludge bombs, right? And a poison type fast move. So there's nothing I could do there. So then once I saw like, okay, I'm now in the range where I'm seeing a lot of Drapions. Maybe a content creator put it out. Maybe just I'm in that range. Scrapped the team, moved on to Cobalion tomorrow because I was seeing a ton of those. And a great answer for a poison dark is a steel fighter, right? So you're going to see those matchups tomorrow. So I got up to 29-23. I lost to 28-57. I went with Cobalion up to 2900. And then I tried a bunch of different combos with Cobalion. I'm going to bring you like 4 or 5. Got to 2900, down to 2875, up to 2880, down to 2861, and I think that's where I am right now when I'm filming this video, which is like Thursday of like last week. So that's like 4 days ago. As you can see, I'm still using Bubble Beam here, right? This is where Ice Beam would have been nice to have, but I think I actually bait this one, which is nice when you run Bubble Beam. So I would run, if you're gonna run this team, I'd run Ice Beam. But, you know, Bubble Beam has its play like that, getting a bait there, plus now getting to a charge move. Like, it's strong. So let me just give you, because again, does this team work overall? It has its flaws, obviously. Let's just go over each piece individually. I'll just start with Giratina Altered, because Giratina Altered is just, if you've played Ultra League since season like 1, you know what Giratina Altered can do. It's one of the best in this meta. It's just so spammy. Even in like bad match, I don't even think there's like bad match, like Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, even in like against Darks, you can just kind of like spam that. Obviously tough against Charmers, but for the most part, like Snorlax, right, is a normal type Pokemon. This one I still had Claw in it too. And I switched it to Dragon Breath after this one. But like even those claws, like look how much those claws do and look how fast they come, right? So even in a terrible matchup here where I'm just getting licked, it still does a ton of damage. Plus it resists a lot of the key Pokemon that you see in this meta. Swampert, Talonflame. Like those are their two main ones that you wall. Like Trevenant's gonna be a problem, which is now everywhere. Nidoqueen, right? It resists the poison. So it's just such a dominant Pokemon. Umbreon was interesting because it was one of those Pokemon where it's just like super solid against the cores that you're going to see. Does well against the Trevenant that you're going to see. Does well against the Giratinas that you're going to see. Can hit Crest for super effective. Does okay. It's just bulky enough that it does okay against like Nidoqueen and Swampert and stuff like that. And then you get into like I didn't see a ton of S-Scavs, but there's S-Scavs. There's Scrafties. There's a bunch of fighters, right? So anytime there's a fighter, there are a couple charm users in here. So it's bulky, but it has some flaws. And then Jellicent, I'm so torn on Jellicent because it just seems like it's a worse version of Trevenant, right? Like why do you use Jellicent over a Trevenant? Like if you're going to be weak to dark, I'd rather have a move so the trade-off is like you don't get walled. I mean, you beat the grass for starters, which is there. You don't get walled by a Pidgeot, which I've shown earlier how a Pidgeot can just easily wall a Trevenant. But the trade-off is like, I mean, you pick up an electric weakness. There's not a ton of electric in this meta. But it just, Hex is not a bad move, but it's no Shadow Claw, right? The Shadow Claw is just so much more hard-hitting and fast on energy generation. Actually, I don't know the Hex versus Shadow. I think Hex is slower than Shadow Claw, but don't quote me on that. And it's just like there is, even in the Swampert matchup, like you do better against the Talonflame. You do worse against the Swampert. Quite honestly, you do well against Swampert, but you still like do worse. And then it's like, it just seems like you get more walled quicker. I don't know. It just doesn't hit as hard. Like Trevenant is glassy, but it hits hard. And it just seems like Jellicent did not hit too hard. So maybe it's less attack heavy. I have to look that up. But yeah, so I wasn't sold on Jellicent. It has play. For sure it has play. But when you have like Giratina and when you have Trevenant and you have like Umbreons, that's where it gets worse. I guess you have a better matchup against Nidoqueen, right? Because they can only throw the Earth Power. Because again, you have that Ghost typing, so they can only throw Earth Power. As opposed to the Trevenant where you were half grass, so you still get lit up there. To a certain extent, it's neutral. So that was the idea behind everything. Catch a Leaf Blade there. Yeah, that game's over. And again, like this matchup here is like it's worse. They're running Dragon Breath, but it's still like Giratina, man. So tanky. So that is basically a team. You will see the Cobalion tomorrow, and then the Premier starts today. Although Premier, I was looking at it again. I think the Premier is going to be very, very, very similar to teams that you can run in open, right? Because like, except for this team because it has Giratina on it, but like my team with Swampert, Talonflame, Trevenant, like that's a fine team to use in Premier because it's just no legendaries. But there's not a ton of legendaries. I know I've already done a couple of videos like Tapu I've done and Giratina now, but there's so many different combos of non. Actually, so let me just talk about that now while this 30 seconds left. What does that mean if there is no legendaries? Who does that actually help? So I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Giratina's gone. Cresselia is gone. Tapu Fini's gone. I ran into one Armored Mewtwo today. I mean, they're definitely not regular, but I ran into one today, which just really caught me off guard. I'm trying to think. Let me actually, while this game plays out, let me look up what other top Pokemon there are in Ultra League Open. Oh, Cobalion, duh. Cobalion and the Virizion, which are like the top number 2 and number 11 on PB Poke. Buzzhole, haven't seen a ton. Guzzlord, which just came out, right? So there are. Haven't really seen Regice or Articuno. And then Genesect, I haven't seen a ton of Genesect either. So Giratina, Crest are the main ones. And I guess Registeel. Haven't seen a ton of Registeel yet, but they are there. So in my opinion, with that, as soon as you eliminate, sorry, I'm going to cough here. As soon as you eliminate the Giratina Altered, I look at like what are the best wins against like Giratina Altered top wins. And it's a couple Pokemon that are otherwise very strong in the meta, but have weaknesses here. So Talonflame, Escav, Nidoqueen, and Swampert, right? So those 4 are very easily handled by Giratina. So if I'm thinking of using a Premier team, if I have those 4 Pokemon, which are so strong in general, but just get walled by something that, not walled, but like pretty easily beat by something that is everywhere and open, I'm probably bringing a combo of those 4 in to the Premier. And I can tell you right now, like again, because I'll be doing these like 4 battles, like battles way ahead of time before my next video with the Premier team. Like I will tell you right now, I will run Swampert and I will run Nidoqueen, probably core together, because I think those 2 are a great core, and they're probably going to do well against most of the Premier. So we'll see. That's what I'm going to start with. I got to find a third. That is it. So that's thought process behind team building, thought process behind team building in a Premier versus Open, thought process behind when you stay, when you do something unique, when you change it, what you're seeing. So hope that's helpful. Hit that subscribe button. If you're new, I would really appreciate that because we have stalled. Appreciate the comments on the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.